Episode 2, Turnabout Airlines, the murder that occurred in my office. The return of the great thief Yathagarasu. Thinking back, everything began on that fateful day 2 days ago. Two days earlier. Oh god. Oh, it's wine. I fly. Yes, everything began high up in the air, 9,000 feet in the air to be precise. Thank you for flying I Fly Airlines. We are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. We are asking all passengers to please return to their seats and fasten their seat belts. March 12, 6:13 AM, flight I-390, whatever. First floor, lounge. Hello everyone, Triple S back with some more Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Edgeworth. Now we're doing Turnabout Airlines, the second case. And I'll put up a graphic now showing the game order and the chronological order of the cases in this game, so you can see when what's supposed to happen. So I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be like, if you switch the first case and the fourth case around, then all of a sudden it's in chronological order, but they're a bit in the wrong, like, you know, way round and stuff. So what we did in the first case happens actually quite a bit later than, you know, what's happening now. Well, I say quite a bit, it seems like it's only 2 days, but yeah, we're back here, and for some reason, Miles Edgeworth is on the floor, and there's wine everywhere, and oh my god, turbulence, and I've never been on an airplane, so I don't know. Anyway, let's carry on. Ah. Why do I feel like I just woke up from a horrible nightmare? 6:13, huh? Guess I was out cold for about 10 minutes. Slight turbulence indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. For your safety, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seat belts. I suppose turbulence is to be expected on a flight, though admittedly I'm less than comfortable with anything resembling earthquakes. Yeah, true, you do hear. Ooh. Huh, what's this? A travel wallet. But it's not mine. Why is someone else's travel wallet wind up in my pocket? Ah, my head. Why won't this headache go away? I'll take care of this travel wallet later. I'll hand it off to an attendant. Earthquake like turbulence to an elevator. Calm yourself. Huh. What am I doing hesitating like this? Actually, I know full well why I hesitated. It was when I was still but a young child. I was caught up in a murder that happened in an elevator. But how long am I going to let my past haunt me? It's just an elevator. I'm a grown man now. I need to behave like one. Uh-oh. What the? What in the world happened? Is there something wrong, sir? I must ask you to please return to your sir. He's dead! Please calm down. We mustn't jump to conclusions without all the facts. What's wrong? Did something happen? You murderer! What? No! You have it all wrong. It wasn't me. Oh, Miles, always getting yourself wound up in weird situations. March 12, 6:41 AM, flight I-390, second floor, first class. I'm going to keep saying 390. Everyone, I am sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. I am one of your flight attendants today, Rhoda Tenero. I'm going to say Tenero. Unfortunately, we have just had a minor accident on this flight. An accident? Don't treat us like we're stupid. I caught a glimpse and it was a murder. What? Murder? What's going on with this flight? What the deuce saying that? It looked like this dude, the ginger dude in the green suit, was saying that whilst he was just swilling his wine and drinking it like, murder! Oh my god! Murder! Anyway, everyone please calm down. There's no reason to panic. This flight will stay on course and make its scheduled landing. We are still currently in the middle of a rough patch of turbulence. So until we are out of this area of turbulence, I ask that you please remain seated. But someone was killed, right? I mean, what about the killer? Let me off! Please, there is no need to feel threatened. We have already apprehended the culprit. Sure you have. I ask that everyone please remain calm. What the heck is he talking about? Why should we remain calm? My name is Miles Edgeworth. I'm a prosecutor and I assure you I am not the killer. Being a prosecutor doesn't make you incapable of murder, buddy. Now you listen here. I am not the killer. I simply found the body. So you say, however, I am sure that you are the perpetrator of this crime. So are my honours of professional flight attendants. Oh, is that right? I know what I saw. And there's even very strong incriminating evidence to back me up. What kind of incriminating evidence is she talking about? We've already alerted the proper authorities at our destination. Until we land, you remain in our custody by the powers vested in our captain. I'm very sorry, but please understand our situation. Your situation? I'm more concerned with mine, and the direction it's going in. I'm not about to just sit idly by while I get accused of murder. Miss Tenero, is it? Yes? I was wondering if you might give me a chance. A chance to do what? A chance to plead my case. And a chance to ask what you meant by incriminating evidence just now. To accuse a passenger of such a grave crime without allowing him to give a proper defence? Can the professional flight attendant inside of you really call this action righteous? You have a point. Very well, I'll listen to what you have to say. But be wary of what you reveal. I'm afraid you'll only look even more suspicious if your explanation fails to satisfy. I also do not have the time to deal with you all day, so please make it quick. Of course, as you wish. Good. Very well then, let's get started. I know for a fact that I didn't kill that man in the elevator. What I don't know is what sort of evidence she has up her sleeve. And I'm certain it doesn't fit with how the crime really occurred. It's time to have an argument with this woman. What Miss Tenero saw. I swear to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant. Unfortunately for you, Miss Edgeworth, I am certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in front of the elevator. It was you standing there with fresh blood dripping off the murder weapon. So if you please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land. Murder weapon? That's it? That's her evidence? I don't think you could ask for a more perfect witness testimony. Won't you agree, Miss Edgeworth? Not really, it's hardly perfect when there's a gaping hole in it. Rebuttal. I'm gonna smack you down. What murder weapon was I holding? It was on a travel wallet, you silly person. It was you! There we go, it was you. Present. Travel wallet. Miss Tenero. What is with the yelling all of a sudden? Ah, force of habit. Well, it doesn't matter. Miss Tenero, you say you saw the murder weapon dripping with blood. Is that correct? Yes? All that blood. Drip, drip, drip. Just recalling that scene sends a chill down my spine. Sorry, but your so-called professional flight attendant training has failed you. What? I'd like to direct your attention to this. Do you know what this is? It's a travel wallet, right? But it looks a little big and bulky. The thing you saw me holding when I discovered the dead body in the elevator was this very travel wallet, Miss Tenero. What? Impossible! Now then, do you still think I am the killer? That I killed him with a travel wallet? But I saw blood dripping from the wallet. I know I did. As you can see, this wallet is clearly stained. But if you would be so kind as to take a whiff, I think you'd agree it's only grape juice. Wine. Then... That's right, you mistook grape juice for blood. The murder weapon dripping with blood does not, in fact, exist. No! There, that should clear up that pesky accusation. Wait just a sec. That is... I mean, even a wallet could be deadly if it was wrapped around something heavy. I demand that you show me what's inside. Please. She's trembling and the tacked on please at the end. Sounds like I've got her. There's no need to look inside. Even you can tell from its appearance that it's light. No, I can't be sure of anything until I see the contents of the wallet for myself. She's a persistent one. I suppose we have no choice but to see what's inside. Of course we know it's going to be the guys. Mr. Nair, if you would be so kind as to open the wallet and check its contents for me. Alright. Usually don't pry into passengers' belongings, but we have no choice here. We've gone all 3D. Unclip. It seems that this passport is all that's in here. As you saw, there is nothing but a passport inside. This renders your wallet was the murder weapon argument mute. Won't you agree? Please hear me out, Miss Edgeworth. What's it now? Well, I was wondering, whose passport is it exactly? Can I take a look? Why not? I'm rather curious myself. This is... just as I thought. This travel wallet belonged to Mr. Ackby Hicks, which makes it the victim's property. Wallet data updated in my organizer. You stole the victim's wallet, didn't you? How dare you? You said it yourself. You claimed to be holding this wallet in your hands when I found you. Perhaps I did misconstrue the wallet for the murder weapon. But it seems that I wasn't wrong about who the culprit is. Here we go, another argument. Like we said testimony before, and now it says argument. Why does it change? Mr. Nero's logic. As you claim, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks after you were done with the vile deed. I find it hard to believe myself, but your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money, weren't you? Nothing frickin' in it! So even though I didn't have the murder weapon on me, you still suspect me, I see. You stood up at the crime scene with the victim's wallet in your hands. How can I turn a blind eye and not suspect you of foul play? Right, you were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money. That's the part we gotta present on, apparently. Where is it? There it is. We present crime scene notes. Because if you check, look, there's money all over the floor there, not being picked up. I wonder if I might get a word in, Mr. Nero. What is it now? Mr. Nero, I wonder if you've noticed the contradiction within your own testimony. What are you talking about? It's simply impossible that the motive for this murder was monetary theft. One glance at the crime scene should have told you that. What about this scene would prove that the motive for the murder was not the money? Or the money itself? I guess, is that good enough there? Yeah, it is. If I may direct your attention to the things strewn all over the floor... Ah! That's right. The floor is covered in bills and coinage. By your rationale, these were the very things the killer was after. Ah! I think we can assume that the wallet fell during the victim's struggle with his killer. And I would think that the killer would have noticed something like money scattering everywhere. Furthermore, as you can see, there was no effort made by the killer to gather the money. But the wallet... Ah yes, the wallet. You will also recall that the only thing in it was Mr. Hicks' passport. Ah! If you are really insisting that it was a crime based on greed, then you're claiming that it was all for an empty travel wallet. Hi. Forgive me, please, mercy, death. Hey, what the heck? You seen the attendants wrong? So that guy isn't the killer? Don't believe it, everyone. It's a trick. Ah. Will you all please be quiet? Miss Tenero. Yes? You lost your cool when you saw the dead body. Plus, the lounge was dark, and looking into the light from the elevator, it's easy to see how you mistook the wallet in my hand for the murder weapon. I take no offence that you thought that I was the killer. Miss Edgeworth. Thank you for releasing me. But what is it now? Mr. Nero, if you could please translate, I'd be much obliged. Sounds like Borginian, but I don't understand any of it. There's another attendant on this fly too. I said that he is giving the runabout. Do you mean turnabout? I don't require an interpreter. I speak English just well, see? You, the attendant. Yes, sir? I want this person to be under the arrest until we arrive at the airport. I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly you were hoping for? What is it you want? I finished talking to the likes of you. Please, I would like to hear why you would like me to be held under arrest until we land. You, how dare you try to waste my time? You were the one who stuck your nose into my affairs. I wanted to spend even at least one more second with my precious art. I have no time for other things. I know what you are. I see through you. Insolvent. Yes, I am pretty sure that's how you say it in English. I'd hope that I don't dissolve in water, but I don't think that's what you meant. What the fuck's mean? Meant. I'm sorry, but I don't think I caught your name. I am Zinc LeBlanc II. I am a very wealthy man in the Borginian. But I'm not an ordinary rich man. I'm an art dealer. A rich seller of beauty. Mr. LeBlanc, what did you mean just now? Pardon? When you said that Mr. Edgeworth was giving me the runabout. I have to explain? Unbelievable. I will say it once and only once. I do not have even a second to waste. Time is money, as they say. Yes, and yet you continue to blather on. I saw it, yes I did. I saw the victim go onto the elevator, going down to the lounge. It was exactly at 6 o'clock. And what's the significance of that time? At 6, he says. Wait, you saw him at 6? Ah, well, what's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? He understands, I see. Mrs. Tennant, what time did you discover the body? Well, it was a little after that patch of turbulence, so I'd say around 6:15. Ah! Hicks was his name, was it? Did I say that man Hicks was killed in the 15-minute time span? The only person in the lounge at that time was this prosecutor, yes? Yeah, I was in my seat the whole time. Me too. I was watching the movie and enjoying a fine glass of grape juice. I was still eating, still haven't finished, see? The other passengers have an alibi, so you have no problem with them, I suppose. No complaint, I see. Not a single word against this, right? I have no way of discounting what you have put forth at this point, but it wasn't me. Oh, so you say, but do you have what you say, the evidence? Mr. Edgeworth, are you really the culprit after all? Mr. LeBlanc, I suppose you are quite certain in what you saw, enough to give testimony? Of course, I was looking at that man the whole time. He was playing with that annoying little small machine the whole time. Machine? Yes, that's what you people call it in English, yes? It was making me crazy with the click, click, click. From that description, it sounds like some sort of small computer. I believe what Mr. LeBlanc is talking about is a cell phone. I have to say that I did see him playing with it quite a bit myself. A simple cell phone, a laptop or organizer I can see, but that's kind of low budget. I hate that noisy little machine in his hand. Not a fragment of beauty, all it produces is ugly sounds. Anyway, I know what I saw. Mr. Nero. Yes? I was wondering if I might be granted permission to examine the crime scene. What? You want to examine the crime scene? If you would grant me a little measure of time, I'm sure I can produce the real culprit. Heh, I don't like the sound of that fox in the duck pen. Yes, I think that's how you say it in English. It's fox guarding the hen house, and I believe my innocence was proven earlier. And if I'm given the chance, I can clear up all the remaining doubts. Mr. Nero, if you wait until we arrive, there is a good chance that some evidence will have been destroyed by then. I understand. Let me see what the captain has to say. Ha! This should not be approved. Please, Mr. LeBlanc. In an emergency, all decisions are to be made by the captain alone. Now please wait here while I go ask the captain what to do. I'll be right back. Do we get to walk around it all now? You are not planning to erase evidence when you are doing your investigation, yes? Of course not. Ha! We will see. Oh, she's back. Miss Edgeworth, you have the captain's permission to investigate the crime scene. What? Unbelievable. I'm in your debt, Mr. Nero. However, there is one condition. I am to supervise you. Can you agree to that? Of course. I see no problem with that stipulation. It's only natural, as I am still a suspect in this case. Grrr. I take full responsibility and will watch Mr. Edgeworth's every move. I hope this is reassurance enough that there will be no foul play. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth... she can't speak properly, apparently. Miss Edgeworth, shall we proceed? If you should need my help with anything, please feel free to touch the partner button. It's time to head to the scene of the crime, the first floor lounge. So she's my partner this time. Okay, where the heck do we walk to? Is it to the... Okay, it says to the left. March 12th, 7:26 AM, Flight I-390, first floor lounge. I want to thank you for your help back there, Mr. Nero. It was nothing. You should thank the captain for granting you permission. And just so everything is perfectly clear, I still don't trust you to that extent. I don't want you to think your standing with me has changed. I see. I will bear that in mind. I received an order from the captain earlier. I wanted you to know that. We reserve the right to stop your investigation if we feel you are not making progress. And when we do, he asks that you please return to your seat at that time. So my time runs out at his and his crew's discretion, does it? I have to find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's testimony before time's up. I understand. By the way, is there any place you can think of where the killer might hide up on board? I don't think so. After every first-class passenger was accounted for at his or her seat, we made a thorough search of the plane. As for business and economy class, no one can move between those two classes and first class without a staff keycard. And we found no record of a keycard being used at all. Which means that I have a first class killer on my hands. At least I know that much for sure. And one other thing. No one else has been allowed near this crime scene since the murder was discovered at Eva. Begin investigation, the first floor lounge. Now then, let's get started. But where should we start from? Let's start with Mr. LeBlanc's statements. The crime scene occurred between 6 AM and 6:15 AM. During that interval, the only person in the lounge was myself, which would make me the prime suspect. However, since I did not kill Mr. Hicks, it means that the killer was around somewhere. Where was the killer? What clues point to where the killer could have been? If we are to believe what you say is true, then yes. The first order of business will be to gather information to win your trust. Okay, so what do? We're going to examine the dead body. What floors does this elevator service? Only the first and second, although it can also go down to the cargo hold. However, that requires a flight crew keycard. So the only floors accessible to passengers are the first and second, huh? Elevator. The victim's body was found inside the elevator that connects one floor with two floors. Or first floor and second floor. Either one. Won't rest until inspected everything. So this figurine. What is it? Is it a cat? What is this sinister looking figure on the floor here? Oh, that's a piggy bank of our company mascot, Mr. iFly. It's just one of the many pieces of merchandise we sell at our in-flight shop. Not on our, at our. This bank is a limited edition. It's so popular that we're down to our last one. You have an in-flight shop? Yep, it's just beyond the lounge to the right. The shutter to the store is closed at the moment. But it was open the whole flight up until Mr. Hicks' body was discovered. There's blood on here. Could this have been the murder weapon? Murder weapon, Mr. iFly. The blood on it is still fresh. Could this be the murder weapon? It says... that coat pocket. Ah, there's something sticking out of his coat pockets. Hope you wouldn't mind if I take a look at what's inside. Huh, here's a picture. Looks like it was taken inside a building somewhere. Photo of Mr. Hicks, data jotted down on my organizer. What do we look at next? Just the body in general. I doubt anyone is expected to find a dead body in an elevator on this flight. So Mr. Hicks, he's really dead? Yeah. He's trembling, although I can't fault her for that when there's a corpse right there. Mr. Hicks Hicks. If you're really dead, then please answer yes. I see she's over the trembling now, although her new symptoms seem to have appeared. Anyway, I should focus on the victim's body. Let's see. There's blood on the back of Mr. Hicks' head. Could this be the cause of death? He appears to have been struck very hard. Blunt force trauma. Wound on the back of Hicks' head suggests blunt force trauma. What caused it? I think we can figure that out. Even his glasses are broken. Oh, broken glasses. The victim's glasses are broken. Were they broken during his murder? And we have to deduce this thing hanging over his neck. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? If we look on here, if we check it, we should be able to see around his neck there's a key card. Hopefully this accepts like the area that I picked. Yeah, it does. Sometimes it can be finicky like that. Like you can be off by like, you know, a pixel and it says, oh, no, that. But if you move it, you know. Mr. Hicks' machine is nowhere to be found. Oh, it's his phone that he kept around his neck. That's weird. His machine. His cell phone, Mr. Nero. That's what I guess because it's not here. Yes, I think we can safely deduce that the killer took it. Missing cell phone, data jotted down in my organizer. If only we had his number, we could call it and, you know, find out who did it. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused. I think we leave here, and let's just look at the. Is this good? The grape juice on the floor. A pity that a bronze statue knows not when good drink has been spilt at his feet. This is a statue of our founder, Mr. Hugo Eyefly, who was a big fan of grape juice. I'm sure he'd be thrilled if he knew so much grape juice was here at his feet. Is that a hint of hero worshipping I detect? Okay, maybe it wasn't that we're supposed to pick. Was it not? We're supposed to examine the grape juice stain and then present something. Let's try it again. There we go. Okay. Bit iffy with, you know, having the examine thing be him walking around looking at stuff instead of picking stuff on the screen like in the other games properly. There's some spilled grape juice in front of the elevator. I assume it was spilled during the turbulence. Oh, we must clean that up or someone might get hurt. Aha! What is it, Miss Edgeworth? I found some very important evidence. The important evidence is the fact that there's footprints here. I guess we'll highlight that one. What is it? They're a little smudged, but I think we can both agree that they are a set of footprints. Spilled grape juice. There is some spilled grape juice on the floor in front of the elevator. So you think, yep, these belong to our killer. Oh, then maybe we should check the shoe sizes of everyone in first class. I don't think that will be of any help to us. Unfortunately, the prints are too smudged, which will make it hard to get a definitive match. Oh, I see. Right, it's time to do some logicking. So, with the blunt force trauma, we connect that with the murder weapon. A statue with blood on it lying next to the body of a man who was beaten to death. Oh, Miss Edgeworth, I think I figured something out. Yes? What is it? The way the blood is on this, it looks like it matches up with the wound on his head. Well, aren't we deserving of the Master of the Obvious title? Well, what do you think, Miss Edgeworth? Don't you think that's worth investigating? It would appear that this figurine is our murder weapon. Oh, I just knew it. I mean, I can't think of any other connection. Perhaps Master of the Oblivious would be more befitting. Mr. iFly Piggy Bank, data jotted down my organizer. Still in logic, we do where was the killer with elevator. Connect. True, there wasn't anyone else in the lounge other than myself right before the turbulence. But if the killer was in the elevator along with the victim, then that's a different story. In the elevator with Hicks, if only I could prove that the killer rode the elevator with Hicks. And now we connect in the elevator with Hicks, the spilled grape juice. I have it! I'm sorry, but I don't understand, Miss Edgeworth. I can prove that someone other than myself was here around the time of the murder. What? Really? Yep, it's rather simple actually. The proof is in the pudding, or rather the grape juice in this case. These footsteps here confess to me this very fact, that someone exited the elevator alive. Seeing as how the victim is dead, that would mean a second person. But couldn't the footprints be from Mr. Hicks himself? Ah, but if you take a look at our victim's shoes, you can see the shoes are spotless. Which means Mr. Hicks wasn't alone in the elevator. In fact, it's quite the opposite. There was actually one other person inside the elevator. Grape juice footprints data jotted down in the organizer. Investigation complete! Let me just amend my guide here. Oh, what's going on over there? Ah, LeBlanc again. Someone else in Borginian. Unforgivable! This is unforgivable! Do you understand what I am saying? The movie is late! It is the same level of bad as if the plane arrived late. But the movie... What? I will not talk to you anymore, you are just wasting my time. What is the matter, Mr. LeBlanc? If there is no emergency, please return to your seat, sir. Do not tell me what to do. I need not to sit down. Well, Mr. Prosecutor, did you prove you are innocent yet? If you would like, I will prove my innocence to you right now. What? Nonsense. Are you saying my eyewitness testimony is mistaken? Not mistaken, merely that there is room for doubt. I'd be most honoured if you could please tell me what you saw in detail once more. Fine, suit yourself. Oh, I'm gonna have an argument with this guy, God help me. What I saw is his testimony again. I guess it's testimony that he gives it first, and then if I make out a point and he argues against it, yeah, I guess that's how it works. I'm certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter that elevator. It was when the needles on my pocket watch pointed to the 6 and the 12. But it was discovered 15 minutes after that in the lounge, yes? And you, the only person in the lounge at that time, must be the criminal. Was he reading his watch wrong? Mr. LeBlanc's conclusions seem to make logical sense. After all, the only person in the lounge at the supposed time of the murder was me. So, my eyewitness testimony. If you think you can destroy it, then come, let me see. Hurry! Do I look like a man who's having the time to wait for you? Why is he so irritated? I'm the one accused of murder here. Anyway, I must find a way to discredit Mr. LeBlanc's account somehow and fast. So, the statement, I am certain I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator, we press that. The first statement, apparently. Press. Mr. LeBlanc, were you able to get a good look at the inside of the elevator at that time? Of course I saw it was inside. And you are sure that the victim was in the elevator alone? Yes, the only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man. This last outburst is a bit too important to let go. The only person inside was that Mr. Hicks man. We present the grape juice footprints. Mr. LeBlanc, what is it? There is a very glaring contradiction in your testimony. What do you mean? Please take a look at the area in front of the elevator. There at the spilled grape juice. Yes, and? Will you admit you also spilled it with the blood? No, it spilled itself during the turbulence. But the interesting thing here is a set of grape juice footprints. Footprints! Yes, the ones that lead from within the elevator out into the lounge itself. It's evidence that proves that someone other than Mr. Hicks exited the elevator alive. There must have been another person in the elevator with Mr. Hicks. Now then, I'm done playing games. Why don't you tell us the truth? I think he just swore at me. Can you please translate for us? Oh god. Wow. Wow, she gives me a run for her money with that chest. No way, that's totally impossible, I guess is what he said. Is she stoned as well? Look at her eyes. No way, that is totally impossible. I know there was no other person in there. I saw it with my own eyes. If you want to know what I think, Miss Edgeworth, I don't think Mr. LeBlanc is lying to us. I suppose she's right, it doesn't seem to be lying. But then what does it mean? What about this contradiction? Mr. LeBlanc, please just once more will you recall the details of what you witnessed for me? Is it going to say argument? No, it's his testimony again. What I saw, part 2. I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. I was always checking the time over and over again. I happened to follow that man with my eyes when he passed me. And I saw clearly into the elevator he was entering. But I swear there was no one else inside, no one. Mr. LeBlanc, if you would please calm down. What? How dare you... Oh, Jesus Christ. Dare you to have an issue with my eyewitness testimony? I can't read, not English. Ah, no, please forget I said anything. Yet again, he doesn't appear to be lying. But I can't let this testimony stand as the truth. I think we've pressed the first statement. Rebuttal, what I saw, part 2. I was very upset when Mr. Hicks passed by my seat. Yep, we pressed that. So, are you still upset now? I'm always upset. The only time I am not is when I have a piece of art in my hands. It's surprisingly easy to believe that about him. But I was even more upset when Mr. Hicks walked by me. The movie... Wait, what? Did I pass this? Where was it? Mr. LeBlanc doesn't be lying. I need to draw more information out of him before I see anything inconsistent. Wait, where is it? I'm checking the time over and over again. Where is it? It says I should have a statement. Oh, is the guide wrong? Are you kidding me? Press it again. Oh, that's great. The guide's wrong. Oh, why does this always have to happen? Right, it says that I should have a statement. The movie I wanted to see would not start, so I checked my pocket watch many times. So I think we'll check the one where press the one where he says he was... There we go. I'm sure I was checking the time. We'll press that. See what he says. Why were you so attentive to that time? Because something unforgivable was happening. Come to think of it, you were yelling about something unforgivable earlier. I was giving a complaint to the attendants about the movie starting time. Return back to me my time in money. You understand the point. Movie? Is he talking about the in-flight one that's mentioned in the magazine? A summary of the plot and the start time. Interesting. Departure time zone. Ooh. They were supposed to show License to Love, Laugh, Maim and Murder. I cannot see that movie in my country. You can only see it on international flights. I look forward greatly to that movie. I checked my pocket watch whenever possible so I would not miss it. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board. So my watch is not wrong. It matched the schedule. Oh, the movie was still late. Very, very late. Your pocket watch. I'd like to ask you a little more about it if that's alright. Okay, so there we go. It didn't say in the guide to press that statement. It said to press the first statement, so that was wrong. So thank you very much, guide. But, the movie I wanted to see will not start, so I checked my pocket watch many times. We pressed this. I think. So this movie you mentioned, is it the one listed in the Sky magazine? Yep. I was so looking forward to watching License to Love, Laugh, Maim and Murder. Miss Tenero, was this movie shown on this flight? Yes, it was shown at the scheduled time. Isn't it possible you simply slipped through it by accident? Nonsense, you doubt me. No, now stop pointing at me like that. Odd, how did he miss a movie that he was clearly hoping to see? I checked my pocket watch a great number of times, that much I know for sure. My watch is set to my destination's time. I always set it when I board the plane. So we present the Sky magazine. Let's hope there's not too many other incorrections in this guide going forward. Mr. LeBlanc, you said this just now in your testimony. I even set my pocket watch to the destination time when I came on board. Now if your watch has been set to our destination's time zone, it would mean that your watch is displaying the time of our destination. Yes, and the correct time is worth its 6 cents. I would like you to take a look at this. If you believe this Sky magazine, clocks on this flight run in accordance with the time of our departure time zone. Of course, the movie schedule was also created with that in mind. Mr. Nero, for confirmation's sake, what time zone is this flight aligned to right now? Well, we made a short stop at the transfer point. That's right, it was in that small Asian country, the Republic of Zengfa. But we didn't readjust our onboard clocks at that time. So right now we are still running on Borginian time. What? The time difference between Borginia and our destination is 9 hours. In that case, it's only natural that your watch would be out of sync with the schedule. Further, if you're an analog watch set to our destination's time, it would appear to be running 3 hours fast when compared to the flight's onboard clocks. It also changes everything about your testimony. And you can bet 1,000,000 cents on that. And like this information, it means you saw Mr. Hicks 3 hours prior at 3 AM. I want 1,000,000 cents! This should clear up all the remaining accusations. So this basically widens the time frame for the time of the death, right? Yep, because Mr. LeBlanc saw the victim enter the elevator at 3 AM. It means that the time of death could be anywhere from 3 to 6:15 AM. The question now is, where was Mr. Hicks during that span of time and what was he doing? I've got something to say. And you are? Yeah, I'm Cammy Meal. I'm a flight attendant. And what is it you wish to say? Well, I think your story's a little different from how I remember it. What do you mean, Cammy? I saw Mr. Hicks sitting in his seat at 5 AM, you know? What? How can you be so sure of the time? Oh, that's right, he pushed his call button while we were parked at the transfer point. The stop we made for refueling and cargo transfer in Zengfa, correct? Yes, it was from 4 to 5 AM according to our clocks. During that time, did any of the passengers leave, or did any new ones board this flight? Nope. Not a single person got off or on in Zengfa. What about the flight crew? The few who were handling the cargo transfer might have temporarily gotten on or off, but eventually everyone, including Cammy and myself, came back on the plane. So basically I can assume that no one left or got on since our initial takeoff. Interesting, I should keep that in mind. Refueling in Zenfar data jotted down in my organiser. Yeah, and I answered his call. I tell you, Mr. Ackley Hicks was there in his seat when we took off again at 5 AM. Mr. Meal's testimony jotted down in my organiser. Alright then, that puts the time of the murder between 5 and 6:15 AM. Much closer together, thank God. Okay, now what time did you come down to the lounge, Mr. Edgeworth? I remember coming down here almost as soon as we left the Republic of Zengfa. Ah! You were here the whole time from 5, yes? Then you were the only one who could be the killer. Mr. Edgeworth, were you really here in this lounge the entire time from 5 AM onwards? Unfortunately, yes. But then how do we explain the footprints? It's not that obvious. This man waited for Mr. Hicks here in this lounge, waited to kill him. And then he put the corpse into the elevator. That is when the turbulence happened. My eyewitness testimony may have been mistaken. But what time I saw Mr. Hicks enter the elevator on the second floor does not matter. Because the entire incident concluded here in this lounge. Everything happened in this lounge? Is that what you really believe, Mr. LeBlanc? Do you have another idea? I simply feel that there is something out of place in the scenario you presented. Is there something that can tie this crime to a location other than this lounge? What do I pick? I believe it is this. The murder weapon. This little piggy bank is sold at the in-flight shop. It is sold there and only there and is not displayed here in this lounge. How then did it find its way here? Don't you find that a tiny bit suspicious? Heh, such a trivial point. Which only means you prepared it, taking it from the shop first before coming here. Doesn't prove you were innocent at all. Arrgh. Is there no way to win with this man? If I may. What is it? You see... Well, it's just as Mr. Edgeworth says. Oh, and why do you know this so well? Well, it's just that piggy bank was there in the shop. I saw it with my own eyes. And when was this? It was maybe around 5:40 AM? Isn't that just before we hit that patch of turbulence? That's right. You were in the shop just before the turbulence? Yes I was. Come to think of it, Mr. Nero, when I found the body, I believe you came out of that door. Yes, I did. What is beyond that door? That's the flight attendant's room. But then you were on the first floor? Yep. I had to do something at the shop and in the in-flight attendant's room. In the flight attendant's room. So I went to the shop first and then to the flight attendant's room. Are you saying you passed by me at some point? Yep, you seemed really into the issue of the Sky magazine you were reading at the time. I don't suppose you noticed me walking by. I vaguely recall someone walking by, but I didn't take notice of who it was. Anyway, the piggy bank was definitely there at the shop when I went there. Why did you go to the shop in the first place? I went there for a work-related matter. Work, you say? Yep, the upkeep of the shop is also one of my responsibilities. Why did you not say anything about that until now is what I want to know. In any case, I believe it's clear that the shop needs to be investigated as well. Shall we head over there then? What is it now? Aren't you forgetting something, Miss Rhoda? Oh, Miss Rhoda. I thought I was going to talk to Edgeworth. That's why I said Mr. Miss Rhoda? Don't you need the captain's permission to check the shop? No, I haven't forgotten. But I've already asked him for permission to search the entire plane. So I think we're alright. Huh? That's weird. What is? Well, I just talked to the captain, see? And he said that he didn't give you permission to do anything like that at all. What is the meaning of this, Miss Tenero? It means she's lying. Go on, admit that you are. You said you had permission to search all over, but you don't, and yet here you are. You, flight attendant! What are you trying to do? Pull the sheep over us? The captain's calling for you, Miss Rhoda. Oh, but don't worry. I already got permission to search the shop from the captain. See, unlike you, I do things the right way. Miss Tenero, why would you do such a thing? Please excuse me. Suspicious. Looks like I get to be in charge now. Please go back to your seat, Mr. LeBlanc. Now then, Miss Edgeworth. If you would follow me, I will be your guide from now on. There's something about Miss Tenero that has piqued my curiosity. Right now, investigating the in-flight shop is my top priority. So, I guess we just got... let me amend my guide here just a little bit, so I don't get confused. We exit to the right, it says. March 12th, 8:32 AM, Flight I-390, first floor, in-flight shop. So this is the in-flight shop. It's quite a mess in here. You think? Guess I'll have to clean things up then. Teehee. Hold on. You can't clean up a potential crime scene. Oh, thank goodness. I hate cleaning so much. I mustn't rush things here. Just remain cool, calm and collected. Because this piggy bank was left at the crime scene. Murder weapon, Mr. iFly. The blood on it is still fresh. Blah blah blah. I think we already had that, but we're putting it back in there now. There's a very good chance that the killer had paid this place a visit. Begin investigation, in-flight shop. Okay, so what do we look at first? The suitcases over here. These very brightly coloured suitcases. What are these? Oh, those are our company's completely original line of suitcases. They're practically flying out the door. That's how popular they are. You should buy one and see how you like it. You won't regret it. Perhaps that's how things work on this flight, but in the real world you try then buy. No way, but either way it doesn't really matter. True, either way, why would anyone buy a suitcase after they'd boarded the plane? Anyway, see that? Just look at all the Mr. iFly heads painted on there. Cute company mascot, isn't he? They're painted on with a lot of care. Doesn't he look like he's about to jump out at you? He's certainly making something jump inside my stomach. Huh? Oh, I guess there's no fooling your refined tastes. Looked like you really wanted to get one. I thought I was going to finally make my first sale, but you saw right through it. Glad that's done though. Never make me try to give you a sales pitch ever again, okay? I never showed any interest in it to begin with. It really is pretty horrible, isn't it? You want to know something? This suitcase was designed by Miss Rhoda. Miss Tenero designed this? Yep, it was a company-wide contest. Well, it does have a very sharp design sense. Sharp! Like stinky sharp cheddar, maybe. Really have no idea why the bigwigs decided to go with it. It's so blech. Mr. Nero designed this, did she? It's definitely not what I would have expected. What the hell? You okay? I'm fine. Please watch yourself, Miss Meal. Letting a suitcase freely roll around has got to be a safety violation. Suitcase. Plane shaking causes it to roll. In-flight suitcase displays can be hazardous. Here, I'll put it back. Okay, we're going to look at the cabinet over here with this broken glass. If you can look in the right direction. The glass on this display case's door is shattered all over the floor. And it looks like there's nothing on display inside either. Oh, wait, actually, I think there is something. What's this? A mini captain's hat? Tiny captain's hat. It's a tiny captain's hat. I swear I've seen one of these before. And then we do some logic. The murder weapon with the tiny captain's... Does it go on the statue? Oh, I think it goes on the statue. Huh. The hat probably used to be on the piggy bank's head. Let's give it a go and see. I believe this piggy bank was forcibly removed from this display case. Does this mean that the killer broke the glass to get at it? Mr. iFly piggy bank data updated my organizer. Really? Don't tell me you don't know what things go where in this shop. Well, I don't. Miss Rudder's in charge of this place. Come on, how should I know anything? I sense that further inspection of the display case is needed. I think we're done with the logic here. And we examine this again. Yeah. So we get a zoomed in view this time. And we deduce this empty space right here. And we deduce it with the piggy bank. There is definitely something very unusual about this. About what? If the killer had broken the glass to get at the Mr. iFly bank, there should be shards of glass inside the case itself. Ooh, I see. Yeah, I guess it'd be like that. However, there's not a single piece of glass inside the display case. No, there isn't. Which means that the glass was broken from the inside out. The piggy bank must have fallen over from the turbulence and right through the glass. Yeah, that's for sure. There's so much glass all over the floor. I'm willing to bet that this hat was knocked off its head at the time too. That's nice. Which leads me to believe that the killer took the Mr. iFly from here after the turbulence. The plane shook so much during it that it made a huge mess of the shop. Mr. iFly piggy bank data update in my organizer. Oh, she's asleep. Take your power naps on your own time, Miss Meal, and listen when I'm talking. Wah! The murder occurred before the turbulence, which rules this piggy bank out as the murder weapon. So you mean the bank's not the real murder weapon? It's a fake? Yes, at this point, that is a very real possibility. But then, what if when the killer went to take Mr. iFly, they broke the glass by accident? The display case is locked, so that's highly unlikely. Yeah, but there's one person who could have. Oh, and who would that be? Miss Rhoda, of course. I mean, she's the one in charge of this place, so she has the keys to everything. Miss Rhoda Tenero, huh? We're done with that. We're just going to do a lot of logic now. So we connect the turbulence with this suitcase. Let's see what this gets us. Yes, there is definitely something wrong here. What's with the sudden yelling? So, Miss Meal, don't you think there's something strange about these suitcases? Oh, well, sure. They totally ooze strange, like the colour and such. That's not what I'm talking about. Now pay attention. Ah, you're scaring me, Miss Edgeworth. Sorry. Yeah, these suitcases are lined up a bit too prim and proper. Yeah, they look a bit uptight, don't they? But I guess they take after their creator. The Again, that's not what I meant, Miss Meal. Don't you find it unusual that these cases are the only things undisturbed by the turbulence? Never mind, I'd sooner find an answer by inspecting these suitcases myself. From close inspection, they really are quite hideous. I wonder how Miss Rhoda would have reacted if she'd heard what you just said. What's wrong? She makes a good point. It would be wise of me to watch what I say out loud. What's this? I spotted something that's not quite right. Here, this one's got guards. This one doesn't. I guess if I present it right there, it'll be fine. Yeah, we're good. Something very peculiar about these wheels. Huh? As in, there are no stoppers in place on these. Without stoppers, one would think that the turbulence would have sent it flying. And? And so it is very likely that the suitcase was placed here after we hit that turbulence. Let's take a closer look at it, shall we? Okay, zoom in. What are we examining here? Is it that one? Oddly coloured, yeah, that one looks a bit different. What's this? This wheel is completely covered in something. This colour in this centre appears the substance in question is grape juice. But why would there be grape juice on the wheel of a suitcase? And where's the button? Was it there? To open it? It would appear to be unlocked. Let's take a look at what's inside. A piece of cloth. And it's soaked with blood! Ah! It's blood! It appears that this suitcase is very strongly tied to our murder after all. Investigation complete! So explain this to me. What does this suitcase have to do with the murder? I believe it's pretty safe to say that the killer used his suitcase in some manner. Such as to move something, perhaps? But aren't you just talking about the cloth then? Let alone it's too small, a larger item will be needed to move what I'm thinking of. The thing I believe the killer used his suitcase to transport is... the body itself? Something that would fit inside a suitcase that is also covered in blood. Sounds like a dead body, doesn't it? iFly suitcase data jotted down in my organizer. Body cloth data jotted down in my organizer. But... in light of this, I'd say that Mr. Hicks was moved into the elevator from someplace else. Which means that the murder was committed in an entirely different location. So you're saying that after moving the body into the elevator, the killer brought the suitcase in here and just left it? Yeah, exactly. What is it? Nothing, just that. I was thinking about what Miss Rhoda said about coming here for something. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth? Oh, there she is. I wanted to give you a bit more time. I'm afraid I wasn't able to convince the captain. I'm very sorry, Mr. Edgeworth, but the captain feels that he has allowed you ample time. He says that he'd appreciate it if you could wrap it up here and return to your seat. I understand his sentiments, however, if I'm not allowed to complete my investigation, the crime scene may become contaminated by the time we land. If I must stop, then I insist I be allowed to oversee the preservation of the two sites. Under your supervision, of course. If that's your only condition, then I believe we can accommodate your wishes. I'm here to assist you in any way that I can, Miss Edgeworth. Sounds like fun. We can camp out and watch over everything together. I found proof that the real crime scene was not in the lounge, and I have enough evidence to prove myself to be innocent of any wrongdoing. And yet, regarding what Miss Meal reminded me about Mr. Nero, I can't allow my investigation to end here. The truth must come to light. To be continued! Woo! Ha! Well, that was a lot to go through. God, I hate LeBlanc. I do remember seeing him in like a video that I watched of someone playing it. I've not seen someone play the whole game, but I've seen clips. And God almighty, LeBlanc, you are annoying. But that was good. That was good. We're getting closer. Dead body moved by a suitcase. Grape juice in quotation marks. Spilled places. And it wasn't Edgeworth who did it. But he did have the passport planted. The Traveller's Pass thing planted on him. And apparently the murder didn't happen in the elevator, like he said, and they didn't steal the money and stuff, and the tiny little cap on the little statue's head. Oh, so cute. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time for some more Eastern Investigation Miles Edgeworth. We'll find out, maybe next time, probably not next time, but maybe later on, if Miss Tenero did actually do it. We've got to find out if that's the truth. We'll find out if Boobs McGee is any part in it. She looks stoned out of her head and got bigger boobs than Mia. And hopefully we never see LeBlanc again, but I bet we will. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.